Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Mike Ames show. It's just the two of us today, and I'm joined by apparently Magnum Mike.
Yeah, and this has got less to do with those lovely chocolatey ice creams that you get, although I am rather yummy. No, it's to do with the shirt and how it makes me look like Tom Selleck. Not the new guy that's on.
There's no...
No, I haven't got a moustache. But if you put a moustache on me, you'd think I was Tom Selleck, you know.
What about the short shorts? Who wears short shorts?
The short shorts and being tall, slim, and handsome. Yeah, all of those things. But
and dark head.
Use your imagination. Get there. You'll be fine.
A lot of imagination. Okay, all right. Well, before I get into what we're talking about, which is clearly along the bottom of the screen, as you can see, if you are watching, just say hi to us in the comments, because we so like to know who's watching us and getting
who's out there. Who's out there? Say hello. Put it in the comments, please.
This is some sort of weird X-Files type scenario. So yes, come and say hi to us by all means. So Mike, today we are obviously, as it says along the bottom, talking about scalability.
Yes, we are. So I get asked a lot, what is scalability? What does that mean, really? And essentially, it's really simple. It means that as your business grows, it keeps its shape. So if you imagine one of those long, sort of thin balloons that people make balloon animals out of, you know, that sort of thing. Well, as you kind of blow into it, it's supposed to keep its shape. It gets bigger, but it's the same shape. A non-scalable business will grow, but it'll lose its shape. By that, I mean, it'll become inconsistent.
So it's like when people bake cookies too close together on a cookie grid and they all mold into one horrific monster of a giant cookie instead of holding their shape and looking like dinosaurs.
Yeah, I'm guessing so. I don't really bake cookies, but I'm going with that. But yeah, it's that ability. And I've seen a lot as it grows, like service levels drop, profitability drops. If you deal with that person, you get that level of service. You deal with that person, you get a different level of service. There's no real overall control on it. The whole thing is a bit of a mess, really. So in essence, what we want is that consistency as it grows. As it gets bigger, it stays the same. You know.
Okay.
So that's scalability. But we have a saying in Flair. You know, oh, in fact, I'll just put that up there just to reinforce. I think Kirsty was supposed to do that, but didn't. That's the deal. That is its main point with scalability. Okay. Now, as I said, we have this saying, which is basically this: you nail it before you scale it. Don't grow a business before you get the foundations fixed and you know exactly what you've got, because then as it grows, it can keep its shape. It's massively important.
So, and also what tends to be is those things that are small niggly problems when it's smaller tend to grow at the same size of the business. So this small thing that's like this big when you start, if you don't get it right, by the time you're at a scalable size, it's this big and a much bigger headache to sort out. Isn't that right?
Happens all the time. Happens all the time, right? Massively so. And ultimately, the end result of all of this is that, really. You break the link between how much you work and what you earn. So for example, when I was at Crimson from 2010, I didn't work there at all, really. You know, so that was that. And when I was at SK, it took about 6-7 years, I suppose. Didn't matter whether I went to work or not. It made no difference, and the profits kept going up. So true scalability means you break that link, but it's a sort of a scale. So over here, what you work is what you get. Over here is the more I don't work, the more I get. Really, that's how it works.
That's the dream.
You'll be somewhere on that list, and you need to be further and further gradually towards that size. So that's what scalability really means.
Okay, so we've discussed this, Mike, haven't we? And you've got sort of 3 ways in which you can break that link. 3 things that you can do in order to get those scalable business points in. So what is the first one?
First one is to build a plan and execute it. I know that might sound a little twee. It's like, well, yeah, but no end of people just have no plan. And so what I'm going to go through now is what that plan looks like. It's incredibly simple. And before I do that, though, the first entry on it, the first thing you have to do is to decide what you want your business to do for you. Okay, because if you have that, if you've defined what you want your business to do for you, you've got a target to go for.
Yeah.
A lot of clarity around that. So again, if anybody's watching this and you have already done that, you've specified what you want, just let us know how that feels in the comments, if you don't mind. So So I'm going to go through what that really means at a very low level. So this whole thing that I'm about to do with you, I normally do in a couple of hours planning session. So you can do this. This is not difficult. It's not time consuming. You can do this, right? So bring up the slide. Let's have a look at what we got.
I will do that for you now, Michael. Here you go.
Okay, and just get rid of that plan to execute. Get rid of that. So okay, so the first thing is this. It's what lifestyle do you want? And that's defined in two ways: the income to spend, the time to spend it. It's dead simple. So they're two very quantifiable things. Now, what I like to do with all of these when I'm doing it with people is say, okay, what would your end game be right now? What would you like it to be eventually? And most people are into the working the 3-day-a-week scene, having enough money to do exactly what they want. And there's a figure on that, 150 grand or whatever it is. Right. And they say, well, okay, that's great. But what's the next stage? What would you like to reach as the next milestone? So you can put both of those in there. So, okay, this is where I'm going, but actually this is what I'm going to achieve next. A certain amount of money you want to earn, a certain amount of time that you want to work or not work. And at the beginning, of course, of a business, particularly, you work all the time, and that's fine.
Yes, very much so.
But not forever. You don't want that forever.
It's not sustainable, and that's not why you get into business by yourself. So this would be, I want to earn 100K a year, and I want to be able to take 3 2-week holidays a year, or I want to be able to have August off, or whatever it is. It's being really strict to actually what you want, and being honest with yourself as well, isn't it? Because if you're saying, oh, I want to achieve 1 million in the first year, some people that's very achievable, I suppose. Other people less so. Or if it's, I want to take every single school holiday off and have an additional 6 months off, it might be a bit much. You have to be logical, right?
It's whatever you want it to be. So normally it's an increment up from where you are now on both income and time. But it's really important because I can guarantee this: the more you focus on something, the more likely you are to achieve it. Okay? As you'll see when we come to the plan. Okay. So that's the first thing. So lifestyle is very important. Next thing is job satisfaction, because certainly when you're a small business or when you start up, chances are you'll be doing stuff that you don't like doing. I remember in our first business, we had toilet rota because we couldn't afford a cleaner, and you had to clean the whole office, but you mainly had to clean the toilets, really. And nobody liked cleaning rota after we'd been on a team curry the night before.
No, that's enough. No more. I'm drawing a line. There's a line. I'm drawing it.
Nobody enjoyed that. But the point is, right, okay, in job satisfaction, it's about identifying the things that you're good at and the things that you like, which combined are probably going to be the way that you add most value to your business. Now, again, what you're looking for is 2 stages. One, eventually, when I've reached that, when I'm earning what I want to earn and working what I want to work, this is what I'm going to be doing. And then the other one is the next stage. Well, okay, I'm doing everything now, but I want to get rid of this and this because I don't want to do those things.
A lot of people, I believe that to be the finances. Oh, this is the finances, the bookkeeping, or the payment, or whatever that is.
I think that kind of stuff, really, for sure. So, but it's really important to drill down on those activities, and if you focus on them, I promise it will happen.
Okay.
This is the big one that most people don't really think about too much. It's like there's an assumption that we're going to build and sell, and then I'll be rich, and
it doesn't happen as often as people think.
It just doesn't. In recruitment, which is our sector, only 0.2% of recruitment businesses end in a trade sale, which is tiny. So you can sell anything. Don't get me wrong. You could sell anything. In fact, a friend of mine just sold his business. He was going to close it down, found a buyer in the end, took 2 bob and a conker for it. He doesn't care because he's got another business he's going into. But the point is that it's not whether you can sell it or not.
So if you can change it, sell it for a life-changing amount.
Yeah, that's right. And I've zeroed in on that personal worth because that's what it means. So take out your house, because your house doesn't count in your personal worth because it doesn't generate any money. What assets are you going to have which is going to generate enough money to keep you in the lifestyle that you want until you croak? And while you're doing this, by the way, I recommend you go to an IFA, pay the money, and have a proper lifetime cash flow done. You did that, didn't you, Kirsty? Except we did it for you.
Yeah, that was an experience, wasn't it? It was quite. I'll use the word enlightening because the other word I would use is terrifying. So we use the word enlightening. But yeah, it's very handy. And because Pete and I are obviously owners of this business now, it really helps to keep you on track. It really helps to sort of adjust those previous ones. So like lifestyle, it's taking into account the things that you want in your lifestyle that you didn't think about. Like dyslexia runs in our family quite badly. So Tom, who's my middle brother, who has been on the show, he's very, very dyslexic. So I had to go to private school in order to help him through. Like, it's taking things like that into account that you hadn't considered. And it just means that
retirement homes, can I just say that? That's what everyone gets, retirement
homes. We were going to live with Pete. We've already decided that.
Yeah, he said that the plane fare to Switzerland was much cheaper than the care home. I don't know what he meant by that, but there you go.
No one does.
But I don't want to dwell too much on that because it is what it is. But it's really important to get your personal worth and figure out how much money you need. And if you're doing it yourself, double the figure you come up with. If you're going to pay a professional to do it, they'll come up with the real figure. And then you know what your business has got to do for you. Don't wait for surprise, panic, and despair, which comes if you haven't done that when it's too late to fix it. So, and that's what your business is going to do for you, obviously. And then lastly, for some people, about a third of the people watching this now, legacy is important. In other words, how they're remembered, what they did that people pointed to and said, oh, so-and-so did that. Or sometimes just an internal thing where people just look back and said, yeah, I did that. It's a jobs, it's a satisfaction thing, really. A recognition of what the effect that you've had on the world, I suppose. If it's not relevant to you, don't worry about it, really.
Not everybody takes that one, do they?
I had a client I started in about 2 months ago, and we had this session. We go through, do all these different things to get all documented, which you have to do, by the way. And came to the legacy. He said, quite frankly, Mike, and I'm going to use a swear word now. He said, I couldn't give a shit as long as there's a tick against the first three. All right, then. It's okay. I don't care. He's going to
appreciate that level of honesty.
Yeah. By the way, on this, just so as you know, for those people that don't know, we've got a webinar in a couple of weeks' time to teach you how to grow a cash cow lifestyle business. So in other words, that's a business which achieves those first three, but you don't have to sell the business because a lot of people can't. So if you've not registered for that, please do. We'll put a link in the comments for you. It's free, obviously. It's just a webinar, so it's okay. But if you don't register, you won't see it. It's not like this where you can just tune in. You've got to register to be on there. So those are the four things when it comes to what you want. Now, the reason I've done that first is you can see, right, that's the first step of your business plan.
Yeah.
You get that? That is the first stage. And you take some time over to nail that. Where do I want to be at the end? What's my next stage? Absolutely crucial. When you've done that, it's very simple to sketch out the shape of a business which will achieve both of those. So if you want to, you can do a shape of the business for the end. You know, like, okay, end game, this is what it's going to look like. And I do that with them. So they've got an idea of where they're going. But what we're most interested in is what we need to do next. What do we need to build next in order to give us that next lift up on revenue or income and time and job satisfaction and so on? And that really comes down to, in simple form, taking what you've got now and scaling it up pro rata to give you what you want. I mean, it's not that much, not rocket science, really. Now, if you are a solopreneur and you've got no intention of hiring people, you want a virtual business, it's absolutely fine and it's absolutely doable these days. You don't have to employ people. You don't have to get on the associate route either if you don't want to particularly, but you just have to include it in, because if you're not going to sell more of what you do, and like in an unlimited way, say you're a pop star and you can sell records as much as you like. If you're not in that space, if what you do earns you your money, you need to be able to bring new people in to help you earn more money. Otherwise, you won't scale. Okay. This is really important. We're going to have a whole session on this. I think it's in early October. Your mission and values. I won't spoil it. I won't go, kind of
too much into it now.
Yeah, there were. I can't think the expression is now. Who knows? But I won't. Oh, steal me fire. There you go. I won't steal me fire now. But they're really important because
thunder. Do you mean steal your thunder?
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, I was just. It's actually thundering here now.
Do you know what? I was just about to say. The reason I keep looking this way is it is chucking it down with rain against my window right now. So that also we have had just to bring it up. We have had this comment from Gavin saying the image is going in and out of focus, and I can only imagine that's because of the weather where we are now. So do apologise if everything's a little bit fuzzy. We are in the middle of what appears to be a thunderstorm, so I'm sure that's what it is. So I do apologise for.
Hopefully, when it comes out on the replay, you'll be able to see these things. But anyway, so your mission and values, very important, and we'll come to those in a future session. And then your SWOT analysis. Now, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats is a way to analyse your business, and that's fine. I find with smaller businesses, just obstacles and assets are better. So what are the things stopping me from moving to that next stage right now? Normally, I haven't got enough people, or
Yeah,
I
it's
haven't
more
got
like
enough
people.
clients or something, whatever, I haven't got enough money. And then what assets have I got available to me to be able to tackle that problem?
That I can make the most of.
Your time, your resources, people. Which people do you know? You know, so that's kind of cool. But whichever you use is fine. It's just an assessment of where you are at the moment. And from that, then you can produce a prioritized action list. So what do you need to do first? What do you need to fix first? And then you just put that in a list in the document and just start working on it. It's that simple. We're not corporates, you know. Don't be corporate. Don't do that thing where you've got a plan which is like 3 inches thick or anything. This is a few pages and it's enough. It's plenty for you. Certainly if you're a solopreneur, but also if you're just 2 or 3 people wanting to move to the next stage, it's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But that
Part of
is
the benefit of being a solopreneur is the agility, right? So that's what you get from this. You get that ability to, yes, know what you're doing, but you don't have to spend 3 weeks creating the revision guide and then having to cram all of your revision into overnight, as Arnold Rimmer said from Red Dwarf. You take the time to do what you need to do, but most of it is going to be spent on the action. We don't have unlimited time and unlimited budget, unfortunately.
So we don't know. So you're right, actually. It's about execution. It's all about execution, really. So point number 1, build a plan and execute it. Done. Bring it back, Kirst.
So that was just what we discussed there. Point number 1. So we have gone through, we've figured out what we want our business to be, and then we've gone on and built a plan about how to create it and what we're going to do. What's point number 2, Mike?
Right. Make time to work on your business, not just in it. It's the single biggest complaint that small business owners have. I haven't got enough time to do what I need to do.
Okay. Just for clarity's sake, can you define the difference between working on your business versus working in it? Can you explain the difference between the two?
In most cases, there's lots of different definitions, but the one that I use, working in it, means doing the stuff to earn the money.
Keeping your clients happy, making sure the lights are on, that kind of stuff.
Making sales, delivering. If you do something to earn money, if you've got a day job, you know, where you're a lawyer doing law, you know, whatever, that's all working in the business. Reaching out to clients, current clients, past clients, lapsed clients, developing relationships with prospects, looking after your staff, blah, blah, blah. All of that, really, reacting to what's in front of you, I suppose, working in the business.
Okay.
Working on the business is a completely different set. I think we did a show on this, didn't we, Kirst? I think you have to have
I think we did a very long time ago, but we can definitely do a refresher on it if people want to.
We might do a refresher on that, actually. I think it's quite important. But part of the reason, the context of it here is working on your business. It's building the plan in the first place and then executing the plan. It's about change. That's the bottom line. This is all about change.
It's about big picture kind of stuff. It's about like climbing to the top of the tree, looking where you're going, looking where you are, and
partly that, and then down the tree and making the changes you need to move the machine to go into a different direction.
Okay.
Right. So if you don't make time to change, you won't change. It's the single biggest obstacle. I kid you not. And I ran a poll recently on LinkedIn, which is still running, I think. And it's the one that's coming out. The biggest reason that people don't work on their business is they don't have the time. Well, you have to make the time. So I'd just say that this is an absolute truism. The more you work on the business in the future, the less you'll need to work in it.
Okay.
You choose. You can continue to work in it. I think Dan Priestley, and you hate this metaphor, don't you, or analogy?
I do. I just don't think it works, but we'll go with it.
Honeybee, you know, honeybee basically gathers honey all day, every day, and then dies. That's it. That's what a honeybee does. Don't be a honeybee. It's right. Gather honey for a bit until you can employ some other honeybees to gather honey for you, and you sit in the hive enjoying your time. You know, okay, it's not a brilliant analogy, but the point I'm trying to make is if you're constantly like a bee going out and gathering nectar, it's all you do every day. Nothing will change. That's all you'll do forever. The trick is to get yourself out of that.
Okay, Mike. Michael. We like to be practical, and I know people out there are going, easier said than done, Michael.
Okay.
What can you do? How are you supposed to do that? How am I supposed to make time when I'm spending all my time keeping my clients happy?
With my clients, and this works, I do it all the time, and it always works, like 100% of the time. You have to commit to a period of time each week. And you can start small, an hour if you like, 2 hours if you can manage it, would be nice. And during that period, to begin with, you're building the plan. And it does take time to get it right, properly right, but it's not that particularly, it's not onerous. And then when you have the plan, when it's got an action list, that action list means something needs to be done by somebody using something by a particular date. Okay, so it's the action, the person responsible, the resources available, and the deadline. Now, if there's only you, well, it's you then. But if there's 2 or 3 in the business, you can share them out. But that is the plan. So when are you going to do the things in the plan? Well, you do it when you're working on your business. That's when it is. So you start small. I'd say an hour, probably an hour a week, 2 hours a week, if you can manage it, and set it in the diary at the same time each week, and treat it like a client meeting.
That's the key, isn't it? Respect it.
Would you cancel a client meeting just because you're a bit busy? No, you deal with it. Same thing. Because all you do when you cancel that meeting, you're just prolonging by another week being a worker bee. So don't be that. Don't do that. No. So stick to it. Now, one of my clients who I'm working with now, just been working with him for a couple of 3 months. He does his on time on a Saturday morning. It's his choice. I didn't ask him to do that. But he's so much ingrained in the business at the moment, that's the only time he could find. We estimate that will continue for another 2 months. After that, he won't need to, because the whole point of working on the business is it changes things. So you have to work in it less, and that's what we're going to do. So whatever you've got to do, find that time and then set it into the calendar. Absolutely crucial.
Okay, so what we've done so far is we have figured out what we want our business to be, and we've built a plan and a way to execute becoming that. Then we've made the time to execute it. We've got it in our diaries. We've figured out when we're going to do it, and we are doing the strategy and the actual implementation of it.
Yeah.
Number 3, Big Mike, what's our final point here?
Right. Find somebody to make you accountable for your actions. If you have enough money, then hire someone, because it's their profession. It's what I do, part of what I do. Lots of people do it, so I'm not fishing for work. But it's one of the things that I do is make people accountable, because then things happen, and they happen quicker. You build up what's called a momentum of change. So this kind of snowball gets bigger and bigger. You change more and more, you achieve more and more because of it. That only happens if you're accountable to somebody. Now, if you can't afford a coach, or you don't want to work with one, find somebody else, find a friend or someone in your family, or join one of those peer groups. You know, they cost probably a few pounds a month. It's not exactly a lot of money. And go there and find somebody that you can do for them what they do for you. But if you don't have that accountability, I promise the thing will grind to a halt. The day-to-day are like weeds. Day-to-day will take over. You have this lovely garden, right, which is where you want to be, working on your business. And if you don't keep on top of it, the weeds will come in, and you'll be back on the day-to-day working in your business. So accountability is absolutely crucial.
So when you talk about accountability, what you mean is, when we talked previously about the things that you needed in your diary, who's going to do it, when it's going to be done by, it's making them go, well, you said the deadline was end of May. It's now May the 20th. How close are you to it?
Let me just drill down on this a little bit, because you're right. What you said is absolutely right. But when I work with someone, I set a target. Now, I can't guarantee that things are going to be done, because they've got clients to service and things that need to be done. And I understand that takes a priority, but they know that when they've committed to do something, especially if I'm waiting for that before I can do my next thing, we're just wasting time and money if they don't do it. So we talk about the thing that needs to be done. Sometimes they're stuck. They haven't done it because they thought they know what to do, and they don't. Or
they've tried something and it hasn't worked.
Yeah, they tried, it didn't work, right, whatever. So then we talk about it, and it's amazing how many times we talk about it and they come up with the answer, not me. It's amazeballs, It's like, yeah, I could do that. Well, yeah, you should do that then. Right, okay, that's that then. Document that up and away we go. So I think having someone to be accountable to is very important. See, so I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it does make a massive difference.
Well, it's sometimes, I joke, one of my best friends, she has her own business and it's just her, and I am head of morale, which is, unfortunately an unpaid role, but, I do what I do for the people I love. And for head of morale, essentially I do that. So this is what I do for her. So she'll ring me up and she'll say, I've got this problem. And I'll say, okay, what are your options? She'll go, I've got option A, B, or C. And I'm like, do you like A, B, or C? She's like, well, C is the only one that reasonably could work. And I'm like, why? She goes through, I say, shall we do C then? She says, yes. That's literally all that it is.
It's kind of like that, really. There's loads of people out there that you can use. I mean, some of them they're not trained in it, but it doesn't matter. It's just making the commitment and sticking
Her
to it.
industry is not one that really crosses over with mine very much, and I understand a substantial amount of it, but not all of it. But again, the head of morale, it's the same sort of thing. It's combating that commercial loneliness, which is what we talk about quite a lot. If
Yeah.
you're a solopreneur, sometimes making all the decisions, you get decision fatigue, and you sort of have so many options on, if I do this, it goes wrong. So again, some of my role as head of morale, I'm available. So all I request is loving texts and occasionally a bottle of wine. She says to me, some of that would be, okay, what's the worst that could happen if you do it this way and it goes wrong? What's the worst that could happen? Because as a solopreneur, you get panicked. So yeah, it's holding accountable is sort of a lot of things all in one go. It's not just keeping you to deadlines. It's also
it's having
giving you someone to sort of bounce off.
To share that journey of change with you, if I can get all fluffy, but it's a journey, because you're one place going somewhere else, and it's change. I mean, so it is a journey of change, and having someone alongside you to keep you on the straight and narrow, to keep you motivated still. Otherwise, the project will just drop to nothing, and it's a shame when that happens. So don't be that person.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to round up now, I think, if everyone's okay with that. So we discussed sort of 3 things today. So the first thing is in order to be scalable, you need to have a plan, and
Correct.
you need to know you need to have an end point in mind, and then you need to sort of have your points in between there to get there. You need to have a plan.
The next
so
day.
Yes. So once you've got that, you then need to make time to work on your business rather than in it. You need to put it in your diary. You need to be sticking to it. You need to understand that this is essential, and it might be a bit more work now, but ultimately in the long run, it's going to make where you want to get quicker. That's what we do, speed it up. And then finally, you need to find somebody to make you accountable. So that can be someone in your business. If you have a business partner or something like that, it can be a friend, it can be somebody who you pay like a consultant, or it could be, a peer group or something like that. But you need somebody that can help you on that journey and will hold you accountable to it and be able to bounce off. Is that a fair summation, Mike?
That is a fair summation, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Before we go to talk about next week, if anybody's got something from this, if anything has resonated with them or connected with them, I'd really like to know what it is. Either leave it in the comments now or later. I'd really like to know. So that'd be great.
Please let us know. Okay, Mike. So I'm going to come to you for I'm mixing it up today. I am going to come to you for the thing that people should do first, because we've discussed a fair amount today and it can be a little bit overwhelming. So the first thing that somebody should do. But before then, I'm going to remind everybody of who we've got next week. Who have we got in next week, Mike? And what are they talking about?
Well, we've got the fabulous Johnny Gillett, and he's talking about the art of business storytelling. Now, you might think that's so much hokum. It so isn't. Everybody loves a story. If you want to engage an audience or engage a client, you want to end a proposal, a presentation, end it with a story. You want to engage people who work for you. You want to get people on side with you. Tell it as a story. It's not telling stories like to your children at night. The structure is the same. Johnny is an expert at that. He's a really interesting guy. Lives in Malaysia, kind of really kind of freaky guy, and I'm loving it. Right, I've been through it with him. I'm really looking forward to it. So don't miss that one. Put a little entry in your diary so you don't miss it. Johnny Gillett on the
Thursday, 12:30. We will be here. Perfect. Okay, Mike. So, as per usual, what is the first thing that somebody should do? They're watching this and they think, right, Mike, sounds good. I want to be scalable. I want to break that link. What's the first step I take?
Dead simple, the plan. And I know I talk to a lot of people, and there's always going to be something before they do something. This is not how big players play. You can't imagine Richard Branson saying, well, I'll wait until that before. No, and I know you're not Richard Branson, I get that, but they've always been like that. It's, well, we're going to do it then. So do the plan now. Go to your diary, put in your working on time, make it a repeatable task forever. And the first session you have, start that plan. Get on with it. And then find somebody to make you accountable. Share the plan with them and get them on board with you and crack on. But do it now. Don't wait for the planets to align, because I'm telling you now, they probably never will.
Yeah, you'll always be too busy, or it'll always be too hot. There's never a sweet time to do it. So just do it today.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Mike, as always. I refuse to call you Magnum Mike. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. No, I refuse. We've just got on that last piece of advice there, Gavin, I think, agrees with you. Just get started today, I think, is what he's.
Yeah, crack on. Yeah. Crack on. Don't wait.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so once again, Mike, thank you very much. Thank you to everybody who has watched us today and is watching us on the recording. Please let us know what you thought, and we shall see you next week.
We certainly will.